The auditorium buzzed with energy as students filled the rows, their voices mingling in excitement. Bright banners hung from the ceiling, celebrating diversity and the importance of standing together for racial equality. Among the sea of faces was 14-year-old Jerome Clark, who felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. He had heard about this event for weeks and hoped to learn something powerful, but as he looked at the crowd, his stomach fluttered with nerves. Jerome was excited to hear inspiring speeches and meet fellow students who might share his dreams of a better world. But as he sat there, he couldn't shake off the teasing whispers that sometimes echoed in his ears. Would today be different? Would he truly feel like he belonged? It was hard not to worry, especially when a few familiar voices began to poke fun at him from across the room. Their laughter struck him like cold water, and his heart raced. Jerome's instincts screamed for him to escape. He felt utterly exposed on the stage of life where everyone seemed to have an audience but him. The podium glimmered under the bright lights, and they felt like they were shining only on him at that moment. Just as panic began to grip him, a calm smile broke through the noise. Rosa Parks walked into view, her presence radiating strength and grace. She had always been an icon in Jerome's mind, a figure who fought for what was right and fair. As he caught her eye, a surprising sense of warmth washed over him amid his fear. Little did he know, today's event would transform not only his perspective but also how others saw him as well. As Jerome sat among his peers, he felt a storm of emotions swirling inside him. The excitement in the air clashed with the weight of his anxiety, creating a tight knot in his stomach. He wanted so badly to belong and to be inspired by the event, but the teasing remarks from a few classmates echoed painfully in his mind. Their laughter rang out like an unwelcome alarm, making it hard for him to focus on the speakers or the message of unity. He glanced at some friends across the aisle who were caught up in their conversations, their smiles contrasting sharply with his inner turmoil. Jerome felt invisible, as if he were sitting behind a glass wall, watching everyone else enjoy themselves while he wrestled with feelings of self-doubt. Why do they always have to pick on me? He wondered silently. The teasing was like a dark cloud overshadowing what should have been a hopeful day. Every giggle and whisper seemed amplified in his ears, pulling him deeper into his shell. He wished he could disappear or blend into the crowd, away from those piercing eyes that felt like they were judging him. Just as he contemplated escaping the auditorium altogether, he caught sight of Rosa Parks moving gracefully through the throng of students. Her energy was different. It was calming and strong. Jerome tried to push aside his worries and remember why he was here, to learn about courage and change. But as the teasing continued, his thoughts spiraled back to his fear of being misunderstood and alone. It was at that moment that he realized how much he longed for someone to see beyond his nervousness and recognize his potential, just as Rosa would soon do. As the event continued, a hush fell over the auditorium when Rosa Parks stepped onto the stage. Her presence seemed to light up the room, drawing everyone's focus. Known for her bravery and determination in the fight for civil rights, she was more than just a name in history books. She was a beacon of hope and resilience. The audience shifted in their seats, eager to hear what this iconic figure had to say. Rosa wore a warm smile that radiated kindness. With her soft yet strong voice, she began to speak about the importance of equality and justice for all people, regardless of their background. Jerome listened intently, captivated by her words. He had read about her courageous stand against segregation and how she had inspired countless others to join the movement for change. To see her in person felt surreal. It was as if history had come alive right before his eyes. Jerome admired how Rosa addressed everyone in the room, making them feel like they were part of something bigger. She spoke not only of struggle but also of hope and unity, urging students to be advocates for change in their own lives and communities. Each word seemed to resonate deeply within him, stirring a sense of possibility that he had never felt before. As he looked around at his classmates, he noticed that even those who had teased him now sat in rapt attention, mesmerized by Rosa's powerful presence. It was clear that everyone was absorbing her message, one that celebrated courage and empowered individuals to take action against injustice. Jerome realized this moment would stay with him forever, especially knowing that it might be the push he needed to stand tall against any teasing or doubt he faced. Rosa Parks wasn't just an icon, she was a source of inspiration who could ignite change in any heart willing to listen. As Rosa Parks continued to speak, Jerome's heart raced, but not just from her inspiring words. The teasing he had endured earlier flooded back into his mind, threatening to overshadow the strength he felt from her presence. He glanced around the auditorium, feeling a wave of panic wash over him. What if they start again? He thought. The laughter and whispers echoed like a haunting melody, reminding him of the times he had felt unworthy and isolated. The urge to leave the room pulled at him like a strong tide. He imagined rising from his seat and slipping quietly out the back door, avoiding the eyes that felt so judgmental. What could be worse than standing up here exposed, vulnerable to their mockery while everyone else moved on? In that moment of distress, the powerful atmosphere of unity seemed to fade away, replaced by his internal struggle. It was as if he was trapped in a bubble of anxiety, separate from the inspiring messages being shared. Yet, just as despair threatened to overwhelm him, something caught his attention. Rosa's voice, a gentle yet commanding force, cut through his turmoil. She spoke about courage in the face of adversity, and the importance of standing up for oneself and others. Her words wrapped around Jerome like a comforting blanket, igniting a flicker of hope in his heart. He realized that leaving would mean giving in to fear, allowing those moments of teasing to control him. Surrounded by peers who might once have seemed like foes, he began to understand that bullying did not define him. It was merely part of his story. With each passing moment, as Rosa continued to share her wisdom, he felt a shift within himself. This was not just a school event, it was an opportunity for growth, a chance to find his voice amid the noise. As Rosa Parks continued to share her message, she noticed Jerome sitting a few rows back, visibly distressed. While speaking about overcoming life's challenges, her gaze often swept the audience, and when she caught sight of him, she sensed the struggle he was facing. She paused for a moment, feeling a deep empathy for this young boy who seemed to carry an invisible burden on his shoulders. Rosa's heart went out to Jerome. She remembered her own experiences from when she faced adversity and felt isolated. Her compassion sparked a decision: she needed to reach out to him directly. Rosa could see that, despite his anxious glances and slumped shoulders, there was something special in Jerome. He just needed someone to believe in him. Without hesitation, she stepped down from the podium and moved towards him. People in the audience watched curiously as she approached. With a warm smile and gentle eyes, Rosa knelt beside him, taking his hand in hers. The whole auditorium seemed to pause as if holding its breath. "Your strength will change the world, Jerome. Don't be afraid," she said, her voice soothing yet confident. At that moment, the noise of the room faded away. All Jerome could hear was her voice and feel the warmth of her presence. Jerome felt the weight of his worries start to lift as if Rosa's words had wrapped around him like a protective shield. It was an act of kindness that transcended fear and uncertainty. It was a moment that stirred hope within him. Suddenly, he realized he wasn't alone in his battle. With Rosa by his side, he felt empowered. A spark ignited inside him as if someone had finally acknowledged his worth. This was not just about bullying anymore. This was about embracing courage and discovering his strength amid adversity. As Rosa knelt beside Jerome and took his hand, the atmosphere in the auditorium shifted dramatically. Her touch was gentle yet firm, a physical connection that conveyed a world of understanding and support. In that instant, it felt as if all the noise around them faded, leaving only the two of them in a bubble of encouragement. The audience watched in silence, sensing the significance of this moment. "Your strength will change the world, Jerome. Don't be afraid," she said softly. Her words were not just a statement, they were a promise of potential, a reminder that even in moments of fear, there is an opportunity for courage. Jerome looked into Rosa's eyes and saw not just an icon of history but a mentor who truly believed in him. Her unwavering faith sparked something inside him, a flicker of self-belief that had been dimmed by years of teasing and doubt. In that powerful moment, Rosa emphasized how kindness can break through barriers. It wasn't just her words that mattered, it was her willingness to act when others might have overlooked Jerome's struggle. She showed everyone in the room that a small act of compassion could inspire great change. The students and teachers alike felt the weight of her gesture. It served as a reminder that kindness could transform a painful experience into one of empowerment. Jerome's heart swelled with gratitude and newfound strength as he held onto her hand. He realized that he didn't have to face his fears alone. He had allies, even unexpected ones like Rosa Parks. This connection filled him with warmth and confidence, igniting a determination to stand tall against bullying and embrace his true self. In that moment, surrounded by peers and an inspiring figure, Jerome understood the profound impact of compassion, both in giving it and receiving it, and how it could change lives. As Rosa spoke to Jerome, an undeniable shift swept through the auditorium. The chatter and whispers that had filled the room earlier faded into a profound silence, as if each student and teacher instinctively sensed the gravity of the moment unfolding before them. Eyes widened, hearts beat faster, and breath was held as they witnessed this historic encounter. Rosa Parks, a symbol of strength and courage, was not merely imparting wisdom, she was actively changing a young boy's life right in front of them. The atmosphere transformed from one of discomfort to one of unity and understanding. Teachers exchanged glances, recognizing the importance of Rosa's act of kindness and its potential to resonate deeply within their students. They saw how her support for Jerome could foster a culture of empathy and courage in their school, encouraging students to stand up for one another rather than succumb to bullying or exclusion. Students, who had previously been caught up in their own thoughts or laughter, now sat in rapt attention. Even those who had teased Jerome felt a pang of realization as they absorbed the significance of what they were witnessing. In that quiet moment, they understood that kindness could bridge divides and create connections that might otherwise never exist. Jerome felt this collective energy surrounding him, a powerful wave of support that filled him with newfound confidence. He was no longer just a boy facing the sting of taunts, he was part of something much larger. As he held Rosa's hand, he saw not only her belief in him but also felt the silent vow from his peers to choose compassion over cruelty. This moment became a shared experience for everyone present. It was a lesson in empathy and strength, showing that even in challenging situations, standing together could lead to profound change. The weight of Rosa's support hung heavily in the air, leaving an indelible mark on Jerome and everyone who witnessed this pivotal encounter. As Jerome held Rosa's hand, he felt a rush of warmth coursing through him, almost as if her words were wrapping around him like a cozy blanket. The fear that had previously gripped his heart began to dissolve, replaced by a growing sense of empowerment. "Your strength will change the world, Jerome. Don't be afraid." Those words echoed in his mind, resonating deeply within him. It was as if Rosa had unlocked a door inside his heart, one that had been closed for far too long. For the first time in what felt like ages, he began to see himself not just as a target for teasing but as someone capable of making a difference. The laughter and whispers that once haunted him faded into distant memories, unable to hold power over him any longer. With Rosa's encouragement, Jerome realized he had the strength to stand tall and face whatever challenges came his way. The auditorium remained silent, yet it was filled with an electric energy that he could feel buzzing through the air. With each moment spent connected to Rosa, Jerome's confidence grew exponentially. He started to imagine what it would be like not only to stand up against bullying but to help others who might be feeling just as lost and alone as he once did. He saw himself becoming an advocate for kindness and understanding among his peers. In that pivotal moment, surrounded by supportive classmates, and inspired by Rosa's unwavering belief in him, Jerome found courage deep within himself. He understood that he didn't have to be defined by others' perceptions or their unkind words. Rather, he could choose to embrace his identity and use his experiences as fuel for positive change. A newfound determination surged through him as he realized that not only could he change his own story, but he could also empower others to do the same. This was more than just a moment of encouragement. It was a turning point that would shape who he would become, a beacon of hope for those around him. As the event came to a close, Jerome reflected on the profound impact that Rosa Parks' words had on him and the entire auditorium. Standing there, surrounded by his classmates, he realized that this moment was more than just a fleeting encounter. It had the power to inspire real change. The atmosphere, once charged with anxiety and teasing, was now filled with hope and a shared understanding of the importance of kindness. His peers, who had previously laughed and teased, were now looking at him differently. They had witnessed Rosa's compassion and were beginning to understand how a single act of kindness could create ripples of change. The event served as a reminder that everyone has the capacity to uplift one another, and that standing up against bullying isn't just about confronting it, it's about creating a culture where compassion thrives. Jerome could see the effects of Rosa's intervention unfolding around him. Some students whispered to one another about how they could support their friends and create a more inclusive environment. A few even approached him, offering words of encouragement and apologizing for their past behavior. The transformative power of Rosa's kindness had ignited something within them, a desire to be better and to treat each other with respect. For Jerome, this moment solidified his commitment to advocating for kindness among his classmates. He understood that he could be a source of strength for others who felt alone or bullied. Inspired by Rosa's example, he vowed to stand tall and help create an atmosphere where everyone felt valued. As they all filed out of the auditorium, Jerome walked alongside his classmates, feeling a sense of belonging he had never known before. It dawned on him that this experience would resonate long after the event ended, shaping not only his journey but also the choices of those around him. The act of reaching out in kindness had not just changed one boy's life. It had opened the doors for collective growth and understanding, showing how personal acts of kindness can inspire lasting change in a community. As the students filed out of the auditorium, a sense of purpose filled the air. Jerome felt a spark of determination within him, knowing that the experience shared with Rosa Parks was just the beginning. He understood now that standing up against teasing and bullying was not merely a personal battle. It was a collective responsibility that everyone in the room shared. The warmth of Rosa's encouragement had transformed him, and he wanted to pass that kindness along. Jerome began to reflect on how important it was for each student to support one another, recognizing that words hold great power. He envisioned a school where compassion flourished and where every student felt safe and valued. No longer would they feel alone in their struggles. Instead, they would know they had allies ready to uplift them when needed. As he walked alongside his classmates, he noticed conversations blooming around him, students discussing plans to form support groups and share their own stories of overcoming challenges. This spirit of unity inspired Jerome even further. It marked a shift towards a more inclusive community, one that nurtured understanding rather than division. In moments of difficulty, he realized that everyone should remember Rosa's lesson: a small act of kindness can create significant ripples in the lives of others. By choosing to stand together against teasing, they could cultivate an environment where every voice mattered and every individual could thrive. Jerome's heart swelled with hope, and he recognized that he had the capacity to be a leader among his peers. Inspired by Rosa Parks' courage, he decided to become an advocate for change within his school, encouraging others to join him in promoting kindness and empathy. Together, they would build a community where acceptance reigned, knowing that by supporting each other, they could all rise above their challenges and create a brighter future for themselves and those who would come after them.